What's going on, guys? My name is Christopher and welcome to It's Complicated. It is a show where I talk about and showcase wristwatches. So if you're into wristwatches like I am, you're definitely going to want to hit that subscribe button. Today, we're going to be talking about Rolex and how Rolex has increased the prices on many of their models. Here we go. So here we are in 2022. I hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. But let me tell you, on January 1st, on New Year's Day, Rolex officially increased the prices on many of their watches. Now, after I picked up that brand new two-tone Submariner and I switched it out evenly for an older Batman with the Oyster bracelet, I kind of thought that over time the Batman might climb down. I thought all this stuff was going to come down, and really that didn't happen. I really thought that 2022 was going to be the year that Rolex was going to announce that they would make more watches. I thought Rolex wanted to control all of this money that they are losing. You know, if you sell a watch brand new for, let's say, 12 grand, and then you find out that in the gray market it sells for $30,000. You're missing on what, $18,000? I thought Rolex would want that money. I thought they would announce that they will increase the manufacturing of their watches, and they were going to do this to the dealers. And if they found out that this dealer did that on the gray market, that dealer would lose the license. But no, none of that happened. The big thing that happened in 2022 was Rolex just increased the prices of their watches. Now, you guys know it's not the first time I've been wrong, and you know it's not the first time I've been wrong on this channel, believe it or not. Okay, I had this guy leave a comment about blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And he did it because I told a guy back in 2019 who wanted a 40 millimeter watch. It appears like he was a little afraid of the size. You know, like maybe he wanted a smaller watch. I told him, well, hang on till Baselworld of 2020 to see what happens. Well, the guy leaving the comment was dying because he said something like all these cry face emojis, all that stuff. And he's saying it all because, oh, you told him to wait. Well, then they announced the 41 millimeter at Baselworld 2020. And that guy, person, kid, whatever you want to call him, it's just all emoji this, emoji that, and it's so funny. But to be fair, partner, that's a 40.5 millimeter watch. So I think the guy waiting to find the watch that he wants, I think a 0.5 millimeter is going to serve the guy a-okay. Now, why did I mention all that stuff? Well, that and the stuff before, it proves that you can't predict the future, ladies and gentlemen. Because this year is the Rolex price increase, okay? As of January 1st, so many of their watches went up in value, but not every single one, okay? Not every single one, but most of them went up in value quite a bit. But hear me out. The stainless steel models went up way more than other models in Rolex's collection because Rolex knows what's going on. Check this chart out. Look at this. The top watch, the one that went up the most, is the Submariner date, I believe. And that one went up almost 11%, or just about as close to 11% as you can. And look what's right underneath that. Guess what it is? It's the GMTs. These are the two most popular watches Rolex has. You got the GMTs, you got the Submariners. Jack up those prices. The Submariner is the most popular one. It went up the most. They didn't just evenly increase the prices. Rolex went through everything and said, okay, let's go through what's most popular, keep going, and increase the most popular one. Let's increase the second most unpopular one, just a little less. And they did that all the way down this chart. Check it out. It just keeps going and going. But that Submariner date, that got almost 11%, 10.9. So what does this mean for the pre-owned market? Well, what do you think it means for the pre-owned market? You know that stuff is going to go way up. The original Batman is way up. The 16610, the Submariner date before the ceramic and everything, it's way up. All that stuff is way up because the Submariner price is jacked up, the GMT price is jacked up, and everything going down that chart, that's all going up, pre-owned as well, previous generations as well. Everything Rolex is pretty much going up. I mean, you have many dealers asking over $20,000 for the 116710, the first Batman. And I mean, that's pretty nuts, but that's nuts for the owners of the watch and the people looking to buy the watch. That's not nuts for Rolex. You have a lot of people out there who think that Rolex just doesn't have enough employees to keep pumping out more watches, etc. And some people think they're keeping the market where it is on purpose. Now, I think it makes a little more sense that way because you got this gray market stuff. You got all of these barely pre-owned or new watches going for $25,000 plus. You know, the new Batman selling on the Oyster bracelet, it's going for over $25,000. So Rolex is like, well, let's up the prices on ours, get a little extra cash, but we'll keep it as popular as it is. So instead of flooding the market with all these new watches over and over and over again and making people maybe not like it as much, they just keep making them the way they're making them. And yes, the gray market goes up in price, but it doesn't completely skyrocket. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, 11% is a big increase for Rolex when your MSRP is 10.6. To do 11% on that, that's a big price increase. Now, of course, all the gray market stuff is up like I said it is, but I don't think it's quite up 11%. So again, I think the price increase is a smart move on Rolex's part, especially on their most popular models. You increase the price more on the more popular ones than you do on the least popular ones. I think if Rolex just starts flooding the market with all these watches, I don't think they're going to have that prestige that they do, you know, where it's hard to find one. How many of you guys watching this video ever walked into an authorized dealer and bought a model that's selling for about double what you paid for it? That's hard to do. Wild times, my friends. Wild times. And that's just about going to wrap it up. For those of you who have been wondering where I've been, I'm not going to be uploading videos as often as I used to by far this time because things just aren't perfect with my health right now. You know about the brain surgery. Well, brain stuff may be back. Not exactly perfect. I appreciate it if you're wishing me well. You guys know that. I appreciate it if you're watching the video. If you're still watching this right now and I'm still rambling, like I continue to ramble, I think you guys are great. And I always appreciate the views. And all that being said, I'll see you guys next time on another episode of It's Complicated.